Tobias, we are worldwide in a more or less lockdown. We have a pandemic situation. This is one of the reasons we are all together here right now, from Utah to Vienna and to Germany. So how is kind of selecting funds and staying in contact with fund managers currently in this lockdown situation?
Yeah, so from our perspective, there is no significant change in our whole process. So it's more or less the same. So video interviews, I think for all of us, are the new normal, and I think it's quite good in that way that you can have more interactive calls and not only talk to the manager. You talk to analysts, you talk to the risk management team, you talk to the ESG team. So you broaden your space. And all the investment companies were forced to work on that digitalization strategy. So in the past, it was not possible. We had seen much effort on this in the last couple of months. So this is very helpful. And in the end, it helps to increase our efficiency when talking to the manager. But I think the downside is, so I prefer sitting on the table with the manager. You get more direct reaction. You get some response from the way he answers, from the way he acts, and that's also very helpful from my perspective to get a better impression on the person that's managing not the fund. So I think there are good things, there are bad things, but all in all, I hope this good aspects will stay in place, and I hope that we are able to meet in person soon.
We've talked before the roundtable that you kind of, I guess, 200 to 300 interviews you're doing usually when there's not a pandemic, and currently it's more like up to 400 to 500 per year. Is this the good thing, or I'd say having just like too much information, too many calls? What kind of would you say?
Well, I'd say, just as I said at the beginning of that roundtable, too much information is not always that helpful. So maybe you have to be a little bit more selective. But I can say for us, overall, it's working. So that's the good point on it. We had a pretty good year, 2020. Probably one of our best years ever, and with all of us in the home office. So therefore, that is a kind of the proven fact that it's working also if you are in the home office. Of course, you can be a little bit faster. You are saving lots of time. You have not that much traveling and let's say time that is staying on the road. You can focus a little bit more on those talks. I'd say overall, I really miss the point of meeting managers personally. And I hope, even though it's working at the moment, that one time in the future, we will be able to travel around and meet managers personally again. Maybe the lesson that me or my team or us learned through that pandemic is maybe you have to be a little bit more selective. So you have to make some pre-selection at the beginning and then go to those managers outside that you really wants to meet closer, especially when it comes to boutiques. We talk about that. I guess it's much more important to know them personally than the ones from the really big firm where you can expect that the infrastructure and the setup and all of that is working quite well. But especially for the small managers, I really can't wait to see them again. And as Tobias said, I think it's really important to get some further insights on the manager, on the setup. You have to get a deeper understanding on what's going on over there, especially when it comes to outsourcing money, because this is what we actually do. We outsource money to different managers, and therefore I think it's much more than just having a good phone call or video conference, and therefore I think both ways will stay. And probably the combination of digital and personally meetings will be a good combination of then gaining added value out of those talks.
Is there maybe a difference between kind of the first investment when you kind of start investing in the fund for the first time and just getting updates? Is this maybe even easier, just getting updates from funds where you are fund managers, where you are invested in, just doing it digitally via video, saving a lot of time, and then maybe on the other hand, the hybrid way, seeing the people you want to start to invest in?
I would agree to that. At the first time I want to invest, I want to talk to the manager in personal, like what Tobias said before. I want to see the reaction when I'm asking questions. I want to get a personal impression. Then when we already know each other, then once a year in personal is fine. And in between, I want to have a good service that they inform us about important developments and or important decisions. Then also the video call is fine. I would say that the pandemic has changed how we look at a video call. It's not that unfamiliar as it was one year ago. Now it's everybody feels more comfortable talking through video.
And I think agreeing with all that has been said, but I think one thing that has been much easier is that it's pretty quick to arrange a call and say, okay, let's discuss not the whole strategy, do a complete review. There's just one topic, for example, just recently, what we've seen in the markets with the GameStop issues, the gamma squeeze. Let's talk to the managers. How do you see it? Exchange some ideas for 15 minutes. Which can be done much easier, and everybody has gotten just way more flexible to arrange a brief update call. So I think that's an added value we can get here. But on the other hand, I think it's very important that also being outside again, watching or visiting the managers, just talking to the trading guy on the way in or something, or visiting the risk manager on the way out, just to exchange ideas for 5 minutes or look at the systems. That's the part which has been missing a little bit, not being on site. And so I think a combination of that will be a good thing in the future, especially through the video conferencing. We kind of moved even closer to the managers. So it's a quick, good way to exchange ideas. And I think the more we talk, the better we understand each other, the better it will be for both sides in the end. Because I think the exchange of ideas and just challenging the managers with questions also can be an added value for them, except maybe if it's a question, what is your tracking error? That's probably not that helpful.
There's maybe final statement over to you, Brian. Would you say the framework will be the same in the future, but still we're seeing or living in a time where the selection of funds or the fund selection has maybe seen an evolution with this video or digital options?
No, I think, process is process, right? The approach that you take, I don't think is going to change at all. How you procure your information, I may be a little bit different. I think, from the video, I think the updates from the manager, I'd rather have my manager stay in the office and do their job than come out and visit us. Come to Newark, New Jersey. That's not a place that a lot of people want to go to as it is. But I think with updates like this, where you can have the managers give you an update, it's pretty simple, rather benign, then I think that's okay. And then when it comes to conducting due diligence, I think it's the expectations of our clients that we actually do the on-site. From an optics point of view, at least, that we have to have that done. And as I said before, the on-site for the larger firms for us doesn't really matter as much. But at the smaller firms, it matters a ton. So could I see ourselves doing a video due diligence with an Allianz or a JP Morgan? Absolutely. Could I see us do a video due diligence of the small firms? Not a chance. And to our point last year into this year, we've slowed down any sort of due diligence of small firms, almost to the point where we're not doing it anymore until we can go back and do the on-site. The risks we think are far too great in the absence of the actual on-site visits. But the larger firms, we're going full speed ahead in this kind of format.